Tonight, is federal law enforcement playing to the cameras? Today, masked and heavily armed ICE agents staged an immigration raid outside of a press conference held by Gavin Newsom and an apparent show of force in Los Angeles. Now, at least one person was detained, but at the event, Governor Newsom said that the move came from the top.
It's pretty sick and pathetic, and it just said everything you need to know, the setting that we're under, that they chose the time, manner, and place to send their district director outside right when we're about to have this press conference. She said everything you know about Donald Trump's America. And that was top down. You know that for a fact. And they'll deny it, I'm sure. Maybe they won't deny it. She said everything you know about the authoritarian tendencies of the President of the United States. I said it a moment ago, wake up, America, wake up.
Kristi Noem, for her part, called the raid business as usual.
It's a case and an operation that has been planned because of who they think could be in that area and what they have for information that shows that there are illegal criminals there.
Arthur and Aftyn are back with us. One of the things that struck me about this moment outside of the press conference, and actually a lot of the activity of this week, is the way that this White House uses Border Patrol and ICE as a department, almost like a personal police force for Donald Trump. Show up when he wants to make a point, put them in certain cities when he wants to go after his political opponents. It's highly unusual, to say the least.
Donald Trump wants you to look at the cameras. He wants you to be distracted so that you're looking away and not looking at your grocery receipts, right? And let's not even talk about the Epstein files that he's also. Yes, here we go. Here we know what we're going to say. But it's a distraction. It's an utter distraction from the fact that Donald Trump has not provided anything to the American people to lower costs, increase wages, and make sure that we have a prosperous way of living. That's just not happened under his administration.
May I retort? May I retort? I'm not a fan of this, and I think it is a PR stunt. However, if you looked at the issues in the last presidential election, we know, Abby, we've talked about it a lot. Immigration and migrants was, if it wasn't the top of the list, it was number 2 behind the economy. And part of deterrence in law enforcement all the time is a show of force. In Manhattan, in Times Square, the cops on the horses, they're not really doing much except saying, we're here and you better not mess around. So it's all part of the social media world. It's all part of the imagery that we live in.
This is frightening. I kind of disagree with you both. It's not a distraction, and the way we're normalizing fascism is frightening. I left D.C. today. It looked like Baghdad. The way that the National Guard has taken over, the way that they have militarized the police force there, it is scary. And so the fact that he has previously threatened to have Gavin Newsom arrested. He had Kristi Noem, the Homeland Security Secretary. For her, killing puppies is business as usual. She's not in any position to even be qualified to oversee a department with this. ICE does not have the authority to arrest anybody. He is deploying them, like you said, like it's his own personal police force. And the fact that we're treating this like, oh, this is just for social media, it's just for the cameras, it is not.
It's a deterrent. It is definitely being used as a deterrent.
We are inching our way towards a police state, and now is the time to call it out. This is a state of emergency.
You made a point about the politics of this working for him in the last election. It did. But now the picture is starting to look different. A CNN poll asked, are Trump's immigration policies making the U.S. safer? 53% say no, 46% say yes. And one of the reasons is because of what these things have looked like. In Los Angeles, this week, a U.S. citizen, 15-year-old, was pulled out of his car. Nathaniel Mejia, a 15-year-old with special needs, was pulled from a passenger seat of his mother's car, handcuffed by federal immigration agents outside of a high school, and was only released when a bystander intervened. They had the wrong person. That is also happening.
I also want to push back because I live in Nashville. I represent Nashville. I'm a state legislator. We had a massive ICE operation in May. I went out and monitored ICE on behalf of my Hispanic constituents, and Representative Andy Ogles called for my arrest, and the Department of Homeland Security retweeted the video. So this is a very real and salient issue in my life and to my state. But I do think it's a distraction.
I take your point.
Yes.
I just wanted to be clear
No,
that it's more than just a distraction, that we are inching
People's
towards
lives are in danger.
Yes. So it's hard for me to treat it like it's political fodder. Like, I'm wondering, what is even the debate here? Like, the fact that we're not looking at this like this is a state of emergency, let's not normalize it.
It felt like a big step for me. It felt un-American. I would think that one thing we could all agree on is that the federal government should not send federal law enforcement to a peaceful political press conference being held by the governor of one of the 50 sovereign states of the Union. And they were there for what? Okay, they made one arrest, detained a guy who was there every day because he sells strawberries. So they needed the district commander. This was a show of force against peaceful political activity. Don't think it wasn't, and expect it in the elections.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those cases where we have to put on our logic hats, right? Excuse me. They're saying that this was just a normal day, but clearly they were trying to make a point. And the question is, as a country, is this what we want to see? Even when you disagree with it, Trump and Newsom have every right to disagree with each other, but should law enforcement be showing up as a threat?
Well, so this is a question of fact, right? Like, either they were given an assignment to go and kind of make a show of force and bully Gavin Newsom, or they weren't. We don't know if they were or not. Either it was or it wasn't.
Well, I guess my
so
question to you is, what does your, I mean, I think this is, we really
I don't
have
think
to,
it's authoritarian.
What does your logic cap tell you? I mean, he just laid it out, right? If they're going to go make an arrest of a guy who's delivering strawberries, selling strawberries on the street, why would the section commander of Border Patrol need to show up?
With a couple of dozen guys
Why would a dozen or more agents need to show up at the exact moment outside of a museum in Los Angeles? Look, I'm going to just say it. I will say what they are saying is that this was coincidental, that they were just going about their duty. But I think people at home and those of us at the table have every right to say, is that really what was going on?
I just object to the idea that this is like somehow a threat to American citizens. I'm not saying they haven't made any mistakes. There have been a couple of mistakes. Those people have been released. Let me finish. There have been a number of mistakes. Those people have been released. It is not a threat to you when there is a force charged with getting illegal alien criminals out of our country. That is not a threat to you.
It is meant to intimidate people who will oppose them. That's why they're at Gavin Newsom's press conference.
That argument is to erase the distinction between citizen and non-citizen, and the reason you want to erase that distinction is because it is you who don't believe in the laws of this country.
When is it okay?
The Democrats screwed up immigration. A disaster. What this reaction is, and what you were talking about, this snatching of women from their children, this showing up at courthouses where there are young children in their Sunday best because they're doing the right thing.
They
did not vote. The American people are decent. They're decent.
The majority of Americans want every illegal alien deported, whether they are a criminal.
They did not vote for people to be arrested, put in jail, and never heard from again.
That was not a Donald Trump talking point. He never said the worst of the worst. He said again and again and again. He said they're going to get rid of every
Then why don't we see white people being carted off? If that's what every American voted for, then why are every immigrant that we see is
because the vast majority of illegal aliens are from Central and South America.
20% of immigrants in this country who are undocumented are white people. Why do we not see people going off to where white people gather, targeting them? If you're saying that's what every single person in America voted for, which is a lie.
What percentage are white of illegal?
20%.
20%. I mean, I've seen footage of people who are not Hispanic and not black being arrested by ICE. So
this way, the country will be ashamed of it. And the people who defended it will be ashamed in front of their grandchildren. Your grandchildren will be ashamed that you stood up for
it. I really doubt that.
We got to leave that conversation there. Next for us, Governor Gavin Newsom just revealed his plan to counter Texas Republicans' attempts to redraw their congressional map. And it's setting off a face-off with former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. We'll discuss that.